The HOKA Skyflow is intended to be a premium daily trainer that will elevate your daily mileage. So did it hold up to the test? Let's find out. So as always, we are going to start off with the outsole of the HOKA Skyflow. It looks like a pretty traditional traction pattern and it has pretty thick grooves as well as a tacky but durable feeling rubber compound on the bottom of the outsole. So as you can see, the black traction pods are that more durable outsole material and the white part of the outsole is the midsole of the shoe. So as you can see, there is not a lot of exposed foam on the bottom of the outsole. So it looks like the durability of this outsole is going to last a while. And in my experience, with about 20 to 25 miles on this shoe already, I see very little signs of wear. If anything, there is a touch of fraying on the rubber, but nothing to be concerned about. The Skyflow seems like it will last for a while. As for traction performance, I live in California, so I only tested this on the road as it was intended, as well as in dry weather conditions. So in dry weather conditions on the road, I had no complaints. These performed absolutely phenomenal from the traction point of view, so I have no complaints there. Moving on to the midsole of the Skyflow, which I think is kind of what differentiates this model from Hoka's other models. We have a supercritical foam midsole and a lot of it. I believe it is the same midsole that they use in the Hoka Mach 6, which I personally was a huge fan of, just with an increased stack height, which I will put up on the screen. And overall, this midsole was bouncy, comfortable, all of the above. I was a huge fan of the midsole. It's going to give you lots of impact protection as well as it's going to give you a bouncy feeling underfoot. I really felt that in the forefoot of this model, especially compared to the Mach 6. Now, I did love the Mach 6 setup. However, as a bigger guy, 195 pounds, 6'1", when I was pounding my feet over the miles, especially over, I would say 10 miles, I started to feel that on the Mach 6, my feet were feeling the ground a little bit more than I personally like to, especially on longer runs. And the Skyflow did a phenomenal job at combating that and fixing that problem due to the increased stack height in the forefoot. As for the heel and the rest of the midsole, it felt phenomenal. As I said, it's going to absorb a lot of impact while still being bouncy and responsive. So what that means is that you're going to have great impact protection as well as it's going to be a pretty versatile midsole. I was able to run slow runs as well as pick up the pace a little bit more into, maybe marathon pace and maybe half marathon pace, a little bit faster than that. And I would say that the shoe is a little bit bulky for that, but my body always felt protected running in these and they were super comfortable and bouncy. So I can't say enough good things about this midsole. As for stability in the HOKA Skyflow, the interesting thing is when I tried this shoe on, I did feel that the medial side had a little bit of support, or it felt like when I was walking in the shoe, keyword is walking, I felt that the shoe was trying to correct over pronation. I don't know if that was just me, like my initial impressions trying on the shoe and walking around my room, but I did feel that the medial side of the midsole did have a little bit of a stiffer feel, and it made me feel like my foot was teetering out laterally. Now, with that being said, once I started running in the shoes, that feeling went totally away. But just from an initial try-on perspective, I thought that that was pretty interesting and thought I should take a note of that in my review, even though this is a neutral road running shoe. Now, with stability in mind, I would say that even though this is a bouncier and higher stack foam midsole, the stability was actually great in the shoe, and I have no complaints for the stability. Moving on to the upper of the HOKA Skyflow, we have a pretty standard upper, nothing to write home about, honestly, and not too much of a break-in time necessary for the shoe. It was pretty comfortable right out the box. The heel lockdown was also pretty good. I did do the runner's loop as I normally do in most running shoes. Now, moving on to the juicier topic of fit, I typically wear a size 12 in all of my running shoes, and I have a slightly wider than average foot. And this is where maybe the HOKA Skyflow falls apart for me personally. I did get a standard size 12 in this model. I do know that they have a wide version of the shoe, but with a lot of my shoe reviews, since I order a lot of normal size 12s, and especially because I didn't try this shoe on before I bought it online, I thought that it's better to kind of have a control. And if I order a size 12 wide, it's kind of hard to tell people like whether a shoe runs true to size or not. So that's kind of the long-winded explanation of why I ordered a normal size 12. I did feel that this shoe felt a little bit narrow for my foot personally. It was nothing too crazy, I would just say that my forefoot, especially, like I felt that the pinky toe and just the lateral side of my foot was sticking out a little bit. Now, the upper did a good job of still containing my foot and still feeling comfortable, but as for the midfoot to the heel part of the shoe, that's where I ran into some problems, especially on my longer runs in this shoe. I did feel a little bit of pain. I'm not sure if it's plantar fasciitis. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it that right. I've never had that pain in my life. And it wasn't a super sharp pain or a super intense pain. It was just a light pain that I felt that I've never really felt in other shoes before. So I do think that that is due to maybe the improper sizing on my part of the shoe. So I'm not really going to hold that against the HOKA Skyflows. I would just beware, if you do have a wider than normal foot, maybe check out that wider option for the HOKA Skyflow, or maybe go and try to find a store that has this shoe in stock so that you can try it on for yourself. But I do want to make a note of that. The upper and the fit, the heel lockdown support, everything of the upper was totally fine. It was just that for my personal foot in a regular size 12 with a wider than average foot, I did have a little bit of midfoot as well as heel pain in the shoe. Again, my forefoot was a little bit snug in the width side of the section, and I did feel that my pinky toe was sticking out a little bit, but that didn't really cause too much pain for myself. It was more of the midfoot to heel. The ventilation was average to below average, a little bit below average, because the upper is thick and I didn't feel too much airflow through my feet while I was running, but ventilation isn't a super big deal to me as I do live in San Francisco and it is pretty cold and chilly, so my feet don't really sweat too much. Now, if you live in a hotter state or, maybe a hotter country, where it's maybe more humid and you need a lot of ventilation, the HOKA Skyflow's upper is not going to really provide you with too much ventilation. So that's something to keep in mind. So overall, the HOKA Skyflow, I believe, is a fantastic option for a lot of people. It is going to deliver on that premium daily trainer vibe. It is going to be a little bit on the chunkier side of the premium daily trainers. It's still going to be nimble and responsive enough where if you want to pick up the pace or you want to run a little bit faster than marathon pace, you're going to be able to do so in this shoe, as well as take it for long runs, short runs, fast runs, easy runs. You're going to be able to do a lot of different things in this shoe, but maybe at a little bit bulkier of a package. So if you don't mind that, I think that this shoe is going to be fantastic for you. Again, with my problems in the shoe, I believe that it was due to the size that I got. I got a normal size 12 when maybe I should have got a size 12 wide. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about purchasing the HOKA Skyflow. But other than that, the shoe performed extraordinarily. I think that I could wholeheartedly recommend this shoe as long as you do try on the shoe. For me, maybe not so much. It didn't work out because of that pain that I felt in the midfoot and the heel, but that could be due to user error and maybe me not trying the shoe on before purchasing. So priced at $160, I think that the Skyflow is a little bit expensive, but again, in the day and age that we are, a lot of these premium daily trainers are going to range from $160 to $170, and I think that this fits in that mold pretty well, and it is a very good performer. The highlight for me was the midsole. It just was bouncy, responsive, absorbed a lot of impact. My knees and joints felt really good after long runs as well as short runs. And I think that this shoe is just very versatile if you don't mind a little bit bulkier of a daily trainer. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the review of the HOKA Skyflow. Stay tuned for future videos coming from my channel. I'm going to do more running shoe reviews. I have the Brooks Ghost Max 2 as well as the On Cloud Surfer next coming up. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. So I will see you guys in the next one.